What's going on, trainers? We're back with another Pokemon Go weekly update video. I hope y'all had a great week last week. Zacian was such a fun Pokemon to raid. I really enjoyed raiding this Pokemon last week. I did about 80 Zacian raids last week. 4 shinies, no hundo, so fingers crossed that I get a hundo Zamazenta this week. Also, shout out to all the remote raiders in the Ditto Base Discord. That remote raid channel has been popping off lately. Thank you so much for joining and hosting remotes. It's been awesome to see. Anyways, this week is shaping up to be a pretty awesome week in Pokemon Go. We've got some top tier Pokemon in raids this week, both 5-star and Mega raids. We've got a Rocket Takeover with some notable Shadow Pokemon, which we'll dig into. A raid hour on Wednesday that you should probably play, and then a Mega debut later on in the week, bringing us that much closer to having all the Mega evolutions in Pokemon Go. So let's dive into all the details. Here's what's going down in Pokemon Go from October 7th to October 14th. So just as a reminder, in raids throughout this entire week, we'll have Zamazenta in 5-star raids and Mega Blaziken in Mega raids. Those raids will not rotate until the 14th at 10 a.m. local time. So this whole week, we'll have Zamazenta and Mega Blaziken in raids. On Tuesday, October 8th, we'll have the Galarian Expedition event Taken Over. This event starts on October 8th at midnight, 12 a.m. local time, and it'll run for just about 4 days, ending on Friday, October 11th at 8 p.m. local time. This is a pretty exciting event with some notable Shadow Pokemon, so let's dive into the details here. Let's start right off with the Pokemon you're going to be rescuing from Giovanni. So Shadow Heatran will be available from Giovanni. Shadow Heatran is a brand new Shadow Pokemon in Pokemon Go. It is the 7th best overall Steel type and the 4th best overall Fire type. As a Steel type raid attacker, you're going to want to give it the Fast Attack, Fire Spin, and the Charged Attack, Iron Head. As a Fire type raid attacker, it'll have the same Fast Attack, Fire Spin, and then Magma Storm, which is a legacy move, as the Charged Attack. Take note that as a Fire type and as a Steel type, it has the same Fast Attack. So if you do get a decent Shadow Heatran from Giovanni this week, you could give it a second move and it'll double as both a Steel and Fire type attacker, and you won't have to change the moves depending on which type you want. We'll also have some Pokemon available in their Shadow form for the very first time. So Shadow Caterpie, Shadow Mankey, Shadow Roggenrola, Shadow Venipede, Shadow Carablast, and Shadow Shelmet will be available from Grunts in their Shadow form for the first time ever. So of these Shadow debuts, which ones are notable? Shadow Roggenrola is probably the most notable as a raid attacker. It evolves into Gigalith, and Shadow Gigalith is the 4th best overall Rock type raid attacker with the moves Smackdown and Meteor Beam. Meteor Beam is a legacy move, so you will need an elite Charged TM to teach it that move to do the most damage. I'll also point out Shadow Caterpie here, not because it's a strong raid attacker, but because it's going to be cheap to purify. So if you're working on your Purifier Medal like I am, you need to purify 1,000 Shadow Pokemon. Caterpie is probably going to be a Pokemon that you can purify for just 1,000 dust. So you could farm Shadow Caterpie to earn a bunch of points towards that Purifier Medal. In 1-star Shadow raids, we'll have Shadow Machop, Shadow Grimer, Shadow Execute, and Shadow Sudowoodo. Shadow Machop is definitely worth doing. Shadow Machamp is a meta-relevant fighting type raid attacker, and it's also relevant in the Great League. Shadow Machamp is the 8th best overall fighting type raid attacker with the Fast Attack Counter and the Charged Attack Dynamic Punch. In the Great League, Shadow Machamp is ranked 19th overall with the Fast Attack Karate Chop and the charged moves Cross Chop and Stone Edge. Karate Chop and Stone Edge both need elite TMs, so this will not be the cheapest Pokemon to train up for the Great League, but even if you don't have the elite TMs now, it's still probably worth doing some of these Shadow raids so you can have one to hold on to for later. Moving on to 3-star Shadow raids, we'll have Shadow Pinsir, Shadow Sableye, and Shadow Mawile. Of these 3-star Shadow raids, Shadow Sableye is really the only one worth emphasizing. Shadow Sableye is ranked 60 overall in the Great League with the moves Shadow Claw, Foul Play, and Power Gem. Mega Sableye will also be rotating into Mega raids later this month, so there will be an opportunity to get some candy here for a Sableye. So to recap some of these Shadow Pokemon available this week, Shadow Roggenrola, Shadow Machop, and Shadow Sableye are the ones that I think you should focus on. There's also the Shadow Caterpie if you're working on your Purifier Medal. The rest you could do for your Shadow decks, but they're not really meta relevant. So also on Tuesday at 1 p.m. Pacific, the GBL will rotate. We'll have the Ultra League, so that means Pokemon 2500 CP or lower are eligible for the Ultra League, and then we'll also have the Sunshine Cup. Sunshine Cup allows normal, fire, grass, and ground type Pokemon except for Charizard. And then on Tuesday evening from 6 to 7 p.m. local time, we'll have Galarian Slowpoke in a Spotlight Hour. The Spotlight Hour bonus this week will be double Evolution XP. So this is a great opportunity to work on your Scientist Medal. We'll have double Evolution XP, so if you pop on a lucky egg for even more Evolution XP. If you saved any of your P-dubs from last week's Spotlight Hour, they only take 12 candy to evolve, so you could go ahead and evolve for the whole hour there for some good XP and some good progress towards that Scientist medal. On Wednesday, October 9th from 6 to 7 p.m. local time, Zamazenta will be featured in a raid hour. If you've never done a raid hour before, the featured Pokemon will be in all gyms for the whole hour, so it's a great opportunity to get a bunch of raids done in a short amount of time. Zamazenta is the 7th best overall fighting type raid attacker. It's also ranked 72nd in the Master League, so I highly recommend participating in this raid hour if you can. I made a video called the Ultimate Zamazenta Raid Guide, going over some more details around Zamazenta, some top counters, why it's worth raiding, some tips and tricks, so I'll link that video in the description below. On Saturday, October 12th, we're getting a brand new Mega debut with Mega Mawile Raid Day. This event will take place from 2 to 5 p.m. local time, and Mega Mawile will be appearing in all gyms for the 3-hour event duration. Mega Mawile is a Steel and Fairy dual type, but it's not very meta relevant. It is not that strong as a Fairy type attacker, and it's also not that strong as a Steel type attacker. However, the Steel Fairy type combination is pretty rare, and Mega Evolution bonuses are very important in Pokemon Go to maximize your efficiency with extra XP and extra candy from overlapping types. Currently, there are only 2 different Mega Evolutions with the Fairy type, and one of them is pretty hard to get. Mega Diancie was never available in Mega Raids, so farming Mega Energy for Diancie is something we haven't been able to do. We did just have Mega Gardevoir in Raids, which is a Fairy type, but it'll be nice to have another option for that Fairy Mega Evolution bonus. The event will feature some bonuses. We will get 5 free additional raid passes. Shiny odds will be boosted. Raid days usually have around 1 in 10 shiny odds. The remote raid limit will also be increased to 20. And keep in mind, you don't have to use those remote passes on Mega Mawile. You could use them on Zamazenta or Mega Blaziken if you wanted. If you do plan on playing Mega Mawile Raid Day, I recommend purchasing the $5 ticket to maximize your efficiency when playing these raids. It'll give you 8 additional raid passes, as well as increase your chance for Rare Candy XL. You'll also get 50% more XP from completing raids and double Stardust for completing raids. We will also continue to have Shadow Entei in Shadow Raids during weekends for the entire month of October. Shadow Entei is the 7th best overall fire type raid attacker, so I do think Shadow Entei raids are worth doing. The second week of October is looking pretty good in Pokemon Go. The Galarian Expedition event, Taken Over, is definitely something you're going to want to play. I'm excited to do some Shadow Machop raids. I'm also hoping for a good Shadow Roggenrola. I'll definitely be playing Zamazenta Raid Hour to get a bunch of Zamazenta raids in on Wednesday, and then closing out the week with Mega Mawile Raid Day on Saturday. Even though it's not meta relevant, I'm still going to be playing this. I want to get a shiny, and I also will be looking forward to adding Mega Mawile to my Mega Pokedex. So good luck this week, trainers. I hope this video helps you prioritize how you want to spend your time and money this week in Pokemon Go. I look forward to chatting with y'all in Discord, and we'll see you in the next video.